Hi, this is going to be a demonstration of a small software tool called Triangle 5. To start it, you double click on the DV Explorer icon, and when you do that, you see the administrator login. Just type in the password, and you see this default screen come up. To get it to work, you need to load in an FHX file. This FHX file could be any type from versions, well, it's been tested from version 6 to 11. Any newer features on like version 11, it may not show up, but you download it without any problems. So let's start doing that. You go FHX, load FHX. What's good about it is if you're giving a partial FHX, like maybe area 1, and later someone gives you area 2, you can do load area 1 and then append a new one so they kind of merge together and you can look at both of them together at the same time. But for now, let's just load the FHX, and you'll see a folder screen come up, and you just go and select the FHX that you are interested in looking at. So let's pick this one and double click on it, and you basically suck the entire thing into memory. So when it finishes, the amount of time it takes to load will depend on the speed of your computer system, the size of your file. But once it's loaded, it basically sucks everything in and you can look at it. So for now, for this example, we just browse to what you can see in the Explorer. So if you have used DeltaV Explorer, you should be able to navigate through what's here. So you double click on it. These are your phases. And you can look at your recipes if there's any down there. And you can look at your setup, like your name sets. Double clicking on this will basically bring up the faceplate or the name set information. Or you could select more than one and then select that, and you see all the three that you selected and then name states and additional information. Could go to the control strategies, double click, you see it, and you see the equipment modules, double click on that, and you can see the devices that was attached to that equipment. And if you want to know which class, there's a go to reference module. It will take you to the equipment module class for that equipment module. This applies to all of them. For example, here you got now class module, and you can right click and go to reference module. That is a DI01. So also each and every one of these modules, you can look at the FHX code, so it take you there directly. So here's a module tag and so forth. This also applies to the phases. So if you look at a phase and you want to see its run logic FHX, there it is. That's the run logic definition. It pulls up that definition, and this is basically your run logic in FHX. You can look at the physical network. These are the controllers. These are your workstation. For the controllers, you can see what modules are assigned to it, and you can look at the I/O. The I/O right now that can be seen are the classical I/Os, as well as your mod buses. which I can't remember at this time, so you can look at that. Again, channel 3, what does it look like? There's a FHX representative of that object. Here are your workstations. You can look at it. It's not complete yet. For example, look at the Pro Plus, which I believe is batch executive. Let's say this one, and you want to see the batch historian subsystem. You see nothing there, but you can right click and look at the FHX representation of it. Let's take a look at this. There we go. So those will probably be added later on. Now, one of the nice things which we can do, which I'll briefly look at, is the ability to look at phases. Let's take a look at SIP1. You can right click, you could look at the phase level, you could look at run logic, abort logic, and so forth, or you can look at the aliases that was created by this phase. So let's look at phase. If you click on that, you see it looks like DeltaV. Clicking on the background will bring you the phase level information here, and you can maximize that. You double click on running, and this is the phase itself. Double clicking on the step will give you the information. So this step S10 will have these actions, and you can look at like the name, or these are for the transition. You get the name, the condition, the description, or name and description. That goes for both the steps as well. So if you could select these two steps, and if you want to look at the actions within these two, you select display selected. So here's a step and action. When you click on it, at the bottom here are the description, confirmation, delay expression for the action. Now what you can do is, one of the questions you might have when you look at a phase is you want to see the aliases that was created inside this run logic. So that's where it is. And you could ask where this alias is shown. You could do a search. So search can be done by all searches. So we do a search. It tells us that the alias is found in step 20, action 20, and that's where it is. So you do next, next. So that's the only place. So we go back to look at alias. If we look at this one here, we do a search. Feed temperature 1, next. So it's only in one place there. So EM feed 1, search. There, this one has here, find next, and then next. There it is. There it is. So this will take you, rather than exporting the FHX file and try to look through there, you can look at, you can do a search around the graphic itself, which is something that DeltaV doesn't have. There are a lot more, but we'll go to that in greater detail later. So in each one of these, there are also other features other than looking at phases. You can do code review phase, or when you run SFCs, you can look at SFC graphic, document, or code review. Code review and reverse check is basically dumping all the information into an Excel file. So let's say if you hit code review, you wait and you open up Excel file and basically transfer everything into Excel. So name logic, where you can write macros to do searches or anything you want with it. So here are steps transition. These steps are connected to these transitions. So another section will be steps, transitions to steps. These are all in your FHX. for each step you got the action and everything spelled out here. So there are code in here where you could check any standard programming that's typically required that you can check for. And there are a lot more other stuff, same with operations. You can open it up, and these, if there's a formula, you see the formula values right here. And there are many ways also to transfer information to a Word document.